Hi, I'm Chris. I'm from Leeds and I'm a first year mechanical engineering student at the University of Huddersfield, and I'm going to speak to you today about my favourite aerodynamic device in recent years. I think my favourite in recent times has got to be the forward exit exhaust of the Renault F1 car in 2011. The reason for this is because it was just against the trend. I think Renault decided they wanted to go against it, and if they'd have got it right, they would have produced a very dominant car, and I'm going to explain that a bit later. First, I'm going to speak about how diffusers work and then go into detail on the Renault car. When we look at the diffuser of an F1 car and the floor as well, we notice that it forms the top of a constricted part of a Venturi tunnel. This is where we have very high energy air, which creates very low pressures, which again creates the downforce we seek all the time. It makes sense that if we increase this high energy air, we're going to get more air under the floor and diffuser, generate a lot more downforce, make a more stable car, and we're going to be at the front of the field. Everything on a modern F1 car is aimed at feeding this diffuser. So the Coke bottle shape at the back, for example, is very skinny cars. The front wing end plates, they're just there to push air around the tyres. Again, this reduces turbulence to the floor and also just makes it more conditioned as it goes through. You've got barge boards, new floors, very aggressive undercuts on the side pods. This just all feeds that more important diffuser. In 2010 and 11, the teams used a very old trick from the 90s of blowing the diffuser. This was over the top of the diffuser instead of directly on it, and the teams used very high energy exhaust gases to feed more excited air into the diffuser, which is where they tried to gain the downforce lost from the double deck diffuser and in previous years. This is a more stable diffuser than the diffuser without the solution, and as well as that, it creates us a lot more downforce. I think Renault, however, they blew the front of the car. They went against the trend. They used the gases to seal the sides of the diffuser, but because they were blowing at the front of the car, it would seal the entire floor through principle, and I think this is trying to create an artificial ground effect like they did with the skirts in the 80s. And I think if they'd have done this, it would have been very dominant and they would have probably won a few more races. The bits where they went wrong then were the front wings at the time were very good. They unbalanced the car, pushed the whole balance forward, and they were designed just to stop and balance the rear diffuser. So when Renault moved everything forwards, they had a lot of oversteer. They were off the pace at the slow circuits, Monaco and Singapore, and a few others, and they really had to struggle to catch up, and they must have lost a bit of power with the lengthy exhaust anyway. And if I were in their position, what I would have probably done is move the exhaust a lot further back and add a more aggressive engine mop. Thanks for letting me make this video, and I hope this has given you an insight into what I find so fascinating about the airflow around the exhaust and aerodynamics of an F1 car in general. And thanks very much.